Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Your Football Show. And of course, I don't know what this is anymore. I was going to say the midweek fix, but it's not, is it? Midweek fix on a Wednesday. There you go. Max has got his flag out.
I'll tell you. Shall I tell you exactly what this is? This is the Premier League fan show, baby. You thought you'd lost us, huh? Vamos, carajo.
I love it. I don't know what it is. We'll have to rethink of a name. I don't know. The lads. I don't know. We're waiting on Lewis. I think Lewis is editing his video, his reaction video. I think he was in the garden with his mates yesterday. So I think he's doing that. So that's why he's a little bit late. JT's with us after being with the big dogs over on DR Sports. Mr. Don Robbie, I've seen a bit of that. And Max, you were watch alonging as well. Watch alonging, you were doing.
Yeah, I was doing my first watch along. Yeah. I think my audio was slightly out of sync, but it didn't really matter in the end because of what happened. So,
what I want you to do is take me all through like each individual your like thought process. Mine's out there. I've like put together some highlights. I went from like crazy highs from when. You know, the mad thing was the synchronicity of Newcastle scoring and Leeds scoring, and then obviously it got disallowed. But when that happened at the same time, I was like, "Oh my days!" And then
mine was like slightly ahead as well because the way we had the streams going, they had like the actual BT Sport thing, and it was like a second ahead. So I just see Newcastle penalty. Then I looked to the other screen, Joffy scored. I'm like, "Fucking hell!" There's a penalty and a goal at the same time. Oh, pardon me. Sorry.
It's all good, bro. Don't you be getting me demonetized.
Yeah, not in the first couple of minutes.
I know. Right, we're going to stop this stream and start again.
Flipping hell.
Yes, flipping hell. And then, then for me, second I went through some mad, like crazy, why have you made these structural changes to the team? We're going to talk about that because I've been pretty big on that.
What's Nathan saying, mate? See this Nathan guy? What a legend, man. He knows ball. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
What I tell you about Senior Furbo, huh?
He did all right, didn't he? He did all right. He's
pretty good, man. He's pretty good.
Apart from when he got nutmegged.
Yeah, that was the one part.
Where did he come from, by the way? Where did Brian and Buemo come from? Like, I don't know if it was
with
the
him in the
angle or
championship.
whatever.
Oh.
I don't know. It looks like Brazil after that move.
Where did they sign him from?
No. I was just like, all of a sudden, he just came into the picture. Like, he wasn't there.
Because it was. That's what I said on my live stream. I said, a ball in from Ericsson. Oh, it's terrible. Where's that going? And suddenly it just sort of curved at the last second out wide. And I was like, oh my God, it's gone to him. But tell you what, I love Brian and Buemo and Bumo, whatever you say, because he missed so many sitters against us.
Yeah, he did. He did. You're right, man. Everyone who's watching, by the way, 271 of you, please smash a like on the stream if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the channels. You don't even need to go to the description anymore. Their channels are in. Their channels are in the title, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're big dogs now.
Yeah, JT's a big. He's in there with the big dogs.
Well, you're the big dog, man. BBC, huh? BBC. Come on, lad.
Right?
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Do you know what though? It shows how much. Like I'll tell you, right? I've done little bits before, so I'm not like blowing my own trumpet here, but in Championship, did a little bit with Sky Sports, whatever. But BBC must hit differently, right? Because on that morning, I had so many texts. I went for a sunbed earlier on, right? And this is no lie, right? I went for a sunbed earlier on. The woman, Karen, who works behind the sunbed, she always forgets my last name when she's looking for my card. She came and she went, "You were on TV." And I went, "Aye." And I bet you didn't remember my name. She went, "No, I seen you come on." And I went, "Joe Wayman." And then I work with, I'm training to be a youth worker and that. And I walked in there today and they were all going, "You were on TV." And yeah, man. So Beeb must hit differently. BBC hits differently, obviously. It's, yeah.
So it's a big thing. It's a national broadcaster.
That's probably why. Not everybody pays for Sky, do they? So everybody's got access to BBC, so you get everyone there.
Yeah, No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it's been great. Actually, it's been cool. But Max, talk to me about your emotions. How are you feeling now, mate? After the dust has settled, or has it settled?
Whilst it was happening.
What did you say? Sorry.
After or whilst it was happening?
Just talk to me, bro. Just
because I know in the game, we talked about. I called myself Mystic Max the other week because I predicted us to go 1-0 down. When Sergi Canos came on and he scored that goal, he got that yellow card for taking his top off, and I said he's going to get sent off. He's going to get sent off here, and he got sent off like 30 seconds afterwards, and I was like, oh, thank you so much for doing that for us. But yeah, I mean, I was shaking in the game. I felt sick. I was just like, I kept saying, when there was pauses in my stream, I was like, this is horrendous. This is awful. But then it's so worth it in the end when that happens. And now, like I said to you before the stream started, I just keep watching Jackie's goal on repeat and making a video about it, and like it just feels so good to have that complete weight off your shoulders, because it's like after all that, we're staying up.
I know. It was amazing. And the one person that doubted us isn't with us yet, is he? He said we were going down, didn't he?
Hey, I told you, everything he said has turned out to be wrong. So that's right.
He was claiming it was all reverse psychology, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, the second he said we were going to lose, I was like, that's it, we're winning now. Bang. Put the bank on it.
Put the money on.
No. But I was there. Everyone was giving it. There was not like you say, I was with a bunch of other people. Nobody said we had a shot, and there was a bunch of it was actually getting on my tits a bit. There was Man U fans downstairs, and they kept coming up, and you could tell they were ready to rub it in if things went pear-shaped. But funnily enough, after the result, I didn't see many of them lurking around. They all seemed well out of the way. But oh my God, man, that I don't want to go through that pain again. It was too much. And right now, like, I should be ecstatic, and I am I am still very happy, but I'm just so emotionally drained from yesterday. You know what I mean? You know, when you have like such a high, and then you have to have like a calm down. Yeah, exactly. Like, well, yesterday was like the boiling point of the past month, wasn't it? The past month, it's just been building and building and building. And then to do it like that, to see everyone so happy, Marsh, everyone on the floor.
Mark Jackson was crushing Marsh on the floor.
Oh, mate.
Because he was on the floor, like, flailing around, and Mark Jackson.
And speaking of the Jacksons, man, I've been jamming to some Jackson 5 today. It's feeling good, man. The past month or so, anytime Michael Jackson, anything came on, had to skip it, you know, because of our Mike Jackson at Burnley. And now that we're safe, I was literally about to skip it again. I was like, hang on, we're safe now. Hey, I'm jamming to this all day, baby.
Get in there. Yeah, man. What an amazing. I mean, what are the key moments for you? What are you picking out, guys?
I said when we scored that Gelhardt goal, when it got disallowed, I said, even though that's not gone in, psychologically for the players, they've had the ball in the back of the net, and they're going to push on from here because they know that they're capable of scoring against this Brentford team. They've done it, and like, it was just offside, so it just made me think, right, we've scored here. It's not been allowed, but we've had the ball in the back of the net, and that's massive psychologically, and that's what happened in the end. We were able to push a little bit more, weren't we, and go for a goal.
Mate, that made me think that we were going to lose when that got disallowed. My mind just started casting back to all the other times we'd had goals disallowed, like even last year, Palace, the 4-1, where Bamford had his goal disallowed, and then everything goes against us. And then don't even get me started. When Cornet scored, I thought, oh, flipping hell, man, they're going to roll through again. Another comeback, another Everton 3-2 job coming up here. Yeah.
Of course, your Messiah didn't help the situation by putting us in a back five, did he? Do you know?
Oh, Marsh?
Yeah, Marsh.
No, I think that was a good decision. Give
over.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, whatever the decision was, however it worked, it did the job. We won 2-1. We won the game. So whatever he did worked out. how do we know that if he didn't go to the back five, that they wouldn't have caught us on the break one time and maybe cost us? Because ever since I know they went down,
they nearly caught us on the break with 9 men.
Yeah, that was mad. It looked like there was 11v11 still, didn't it? Like they still had the same amount of the ball, and I was thinking, hold on, they've got 9 men. I was expecting us to go and score it. Yeah,
I didn't even know they had 9 men until after the game. To be honest, I knew they got the red card with Canos, but
Aya got injured.
The geezer went off injured. They kept like showing him walking off injured, and I was like, why are they spending so long showing this? And I didn't have any commentary or anything, so I just thought, oh right, well he's just been subbed off here. Little do I know, after they had 10 men for about half the game.
Well, Oscar of All Leeds TV friend, and he was at the game, and he was actually in the ground, and he didn't even know that Canos had been sent off. So I think it was just one of them days. It was blinking
like a Cammy moment. I don't know, Jeff. Has there?
yeah, exactly.
Well, it was one of those where you're not even looking at the screen half the time, is it? Because you're just like head in the hands, looking around.
Yeah. That last 10-15 minutes, I don't think I watched any of the game. I was just, I know I'm serious, and I remember
just looking at the chat.
Just going like this. Oh, I can't, man. Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
Oh,
I watched it, but I can't really remember any of it because it's just a blur. Like mid-season games, I'm like picking things out to talk about in my match reactions and stuff. And that one, I was just like, I was watching it, but not taking it all in. I was just like, what is going on here? I said when we got that penalty, by the way, I said it has to be Rafinha. He's the only one with nads big enough to take a penalty in this situation. And he even did that stutter in his run up that everybody had a heart attack when he did against Palace. And I just thought it has to be him. Yeah.
Such a good plan. JT, do you know a lady by the name of Joanne by any chance?
I've seen her in the chat a few times. Joanne Town, is it?
Oh, I thought she was a relation, no?
No. Why? Because she says their hair's nice. What can I say, man?
I've just realised, as you said the last name out loud, it's not the same last name, is it?
Oh, you thought it was Joanne Toon.
Yeah, and then when you said
Joey, it's JT's burner account because it's still JT.
Yeah, there you go. We've had a super chat come in from Binny Kex.
£1,500. Oh,
no, ISK.
Icelandic.
I don't know what that converts.
Icelandic krona, is it?
I'm not sure, but thank you anyway. He said, can't wait to fly out again and watch us in the Prem next season. Love from Iceland. Yeah, so that's the thing. What's the most important thing for you as fans, like us being in the Prem? What's the most important thing about it? Like for me, I think about the stature, the teams that will play, the money that comes along with it, the squad that we're going to be able to build now. You know, because I think 2 years is the magic number. If you look at like Wolves and Villa, and you get in that 2 year, you sort
Leicester
of,
as well.
Leicester, exactly. So you have a little bit of breathing space. Like I was saying on my post match, Ivan Toney doing that mind the gap stuff, and the Brentford fans wanting to send us down. They will be in the same mire that we were in this season. Believe me.
Especially if Eriksen leaves.
Exactly. But what's the big thing for you folks?
Well, I'm looking at first of all, that pain. The pain of irrelevance that comes with being in the Championship, man. It's flipping rough. It is proper rough. And all those years of my dad telling me, oh, yes, son, I can't wait for us to be able to watch our team in the Premier League and see and go to games together in the Premier League. And I only got to go to one game with my dad this year because, of course, the first year we couldn't even go to games. And it would just be like, have I seriously waited my entire life to get back to the Premier League and to finally have hopes and aspirations of competing, of playing big clubs, of maybe even one day having the dream of winning some sort of title or some sort of trophy, just to have it sucked away in an instant? And then I didn't even get to go and experience it with my dad. And I only got to go with one game with him. So I was mainly really happy for him and everyone around the club. And just the fact that we can be a big club, still in the big conversation. And that I didn't have to go and re-download Channel 5 because it was getting ropes there. I'm telling you, I was EFL on Quest now, was on my search. It was on my search history. What about you?
For me or Max? Who you go, Max?
Max
me?
first.
You want to know me?
Yeah, you go first.
I know you.
Okay.
Yeah, you've been just asking the questions, so as you.
Yeah, no, I like that, mate. I like that. Thank you for that. Thank you. I feel like I'm wanted now, mate. Cheers. No, do you know what? For me, it's even like this channel, right, has sort of become my life now. Yeah, I'm so wrapped up in it. I enjoy doing it so much and all that sort of stuff. And there's a case of like, and I've built up such a community and everything. And it was that as well. Like, I was thinking, I'm going to have to rip everything up. And like, it's going to be the championship and how long we're going to be down there for. And, there was that, of course. I'm a season ticket holder, so I go to games and, I really want to see Haaland. I want to see Haaland, man. I want to see Haaland at Elland Road. I do. I really want to see that. And I think now we're in the Prem now. I don't think we will flirt with it again. I don't. And I think now that's us. That's comfortable. And, what's to say? Why can't we push for Europe? Why can't it happen? You know what I mean? Why can't we do that?
With the right signings, it's possible, isn't it?
Exactly, man.
Money.
Yeah. We're going to talk as well. Just before you come in,
I was going to segue to that, but I thought we'd save it for later.
We've had a super chat coming from Sean regarding Eddie Gray's comments and Bielsa and signings and stuff. So we will touch on that a little bit later on. I just want to chat about Max's thoughts in the game and stuff while we wait for Lou as well.
I was just going to say about the reason to be in the Premier League. It's where we've longed for nearly my entire life. Getting relegated in 2004, I was 7 years old, so I never really got to experience football properly in the Premier League. And it's always been my whole life. My mates to support teams who are in the Premier League, and I have to support someone in the Championship or League One. And it was always the promised land. We were always wanting to get to the Premier League. So the fact that after 16, 17 years, we had a manager in who played that type of football, who made us love Leeds again, who made us love watching football. The fact that we got back, for it to all be for nothing if we were to go down this season, would have been more heartbreaking than never getting here in the first place. It was always the goal. It's all my entire life. It's been the goal to get to the Premier League. So it's like, if we were to just go down with a whimper, it would have been horrendous.
I know. Yeah.
Like you say as well, Haaland, the pedigree of players you get to, we could make videos, couldn't we, on the players that we've seen live play Leeds this season or whatever, and it's just like some of the best players in the world.
Ronaldo, man. Ronaldo. That's something to put down on the bucket list. Ronaldo. I got to watch Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah. Hoo. Don't try that, man. Don't try that. I know he plays for Man U or whatever, but that's Cristiano Ronaldo. That is the second greatest player to ever play the game of football. And I got to witness him in the flesh. Yeah, I didn't want to. I was happy he was shit on the day, but I still got to witness him. I'll tell my grandkids about that.
I got to see Junior Firpo play live.
So that's another one. I'm gonna forget that one.
Yeah, I do. I do hear what you're saying, though, Max. I remember when Trent Alexander-Arnold was over in my corner of the ground, and we were singing to him. You're just a Kyle Walker. You're just Kyle Walker. And then moments later, he laid on the assist that scored the goal, and he just turned around to us and laughed. And do you know what? I was like, you know what? I can respect that, because that's
fair play. Even when we were wanging all those bits of paper at Grealish, he had a smile on his face, and he was taking it as a joke. And I thought, do you know what? Fair play to him. I've never really had a massive problem with him.
You can accept it and respect that. Whereas when Steve Morrison's doing you dirty, like when we played Millwall at Elland Road and he's giving it all this, I'm like, that's Steve Morrison. Like, that shouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? But when it's Trent or it's Ronaldo or it's, Haaland, whoever, you can go, do you know what?
That's what football
would Haaland be getting stick if he came to Leeds?
No, it was just the name that we have.
No. I'm wondering, if he was banging in goals, how would the fans actually treat him? Would they be like
I don't think
jeering him when he get the ball?
I don't think he'll celebrate. I don't think he's like that, man.
Will he? Will he not? I feel like he'll.
I mean, yeah, but the
celebrate a little thing and go.
People not celebrating though. Only happens for like the first goal or two. The time they play that club.
Yeah.
When they eventually just.
But when he scores 5 in one game against us, the first two he won't celebrate.
You never know. It might be KP laying on the assists for him.
I thought it was fair enough of Nketiah not to celebrate when he scored that first
that's
one.
What I mean.
Given it was a mistake as well from Meslier.
Yeah, second.
I think it was more to do with the fact it was a mistake from Meslier and he's probably mates with him and he just thought, you know what, it's bad if I start celebrating in his face. But not here to talk about conceding goals, are we? Talk about scoring them.
No, we'll be doing enough of that next season. Am I right?
Not with our newfound zonal marking. What is this newfangled?
I don't know. Look, I'm looking forward to what Marsh can do, man. I like him. I like the geezer. You know, I grew a lot more love for him yesterday. You know, seeing him celebrate like that on the floor. I mean, how can that not bring tears of joy to your eye? Where
is that he doesn't care, can you?
No, of course. That's what I mean. That's the first.
He's got passion.
I know people say he's been animated, but I haven't really seen much of it from him before. I saw us like getting absolutely slapped by Chelsea, and he was just kind of there with like the head in his arms. Against Brentford, he was going crazy, man. Going and absolutely leathering a bucket. I don't even know what moment that was where he just turned around and started kicking the ass out of a bucket.
Because Cooper had a shocker.
Yeah.
I've been praising Cooper, obviously. I'm a massive fan of Cooper. And he's been such he's had so many good performances since his return to the side. But last night, for me, he was arguably the worst player on pitch for Leeds.
Yeah, well,
him and Llorente both had a bit of a mare because within about 30 seconds of kickoff, Llorente kicked it straight at Tony, and Tony was nearly through on goal. It's like they made a few more of them in the game, but I think one of the worst things was Firpo was fouling people in a position that allowed Christian Eriksen to get on the ball and put a cross in the box completely uncontested. Like we talked about it before the game, didn't we? And we said that the big thing will be stopping Eriksen getting the ball in the box. And we're giving fouls away in positions where nobody can stop him getting that ball in the box. And he had a couple where they probably could have scored if they were in the right place.
Yeah, that's true. But it begs the question then: why has Struijk been left out of the side? That's the only thing I'm not understanding here. What is it with Struijk? Do you think
maybe he just didn't want to play 4 centre backs at left?
No, I know, but I mean,
back and right back.
I know, but I mean, is he better than Cooper or Llorente?
But you might find now that there's going to be a churn. There's going to be a churn of squad. Cooper could. I'm not saying Cooper will move on. I think we should still keep Cooper at the football club. In terms of what the future holds, then of course it's Pascal at left centre back for me.
I think Cooper is the best header of the ball that we have. Yeah. And I think since he's come back, one of the big reasons that we haven't been conceding from as many set pieces under Marsh is not just the zonal marking, but you can count the amount of times that Cooper gets up and heads it away is like unbelievable compared to what we were getting before. And I think that makes a big, big difference, even if he is a bit mistake prone in other situations. Right. I think, like you say, he'll be slowly phased out for Struijk to come in and have that starting position. But I think Struijk has a little bit left to prove still.
Yeah.
I think he's made a few mistakes this season where you've thought, oh yeah, you can tell you're a young player there.
Yeah. I agree with you in that respect. I do agree with you. But look, the future is bright. You only have to look, and this is one thing that I said towards the end of my post-match. I'm aware that the average duration on the video doesn't always mean that everyone makes it to the end of the post-match. So I will say it now. I do sometimes. Well, I'm not Marsh's biggest fan. You folks know this, right? And I have said I was frustrated at the substitutions, but I have to give props to him in the way that he gave Greenwood his debut yesterday. in such an important game. And when I seen Click had been dropped, and I think it was a structural thing, we went full Bielsa in terms of the 4-1-4-1.
Yeah, but he was ballsy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Greenwood was playing a little bit deeper than an attacking midfielder usually would be, but he certainly wasn't completely sat alongside Phillips, was he?
No, Phillips was in a single pivot, and that's what everyone's been crying out for. Is we want to see. And Phillips was very, very good in my opinion in that single pivot there.
Yeah, I also thought Greenwood was, like Joe said, was instrumental in most of the good things that we did in that game. And that's what we were talking about when we were on about the club and the board always seeming like they were knowing what they're doing before this season. The youth players that they brought in, like Gelhardt, Greenwood, Bate, like some of these players look like they can be proper players in a few years' time.
Greenwood and Gelhardt combined. Gelhardt and Greenwood were a combined 2.5 million.
Yeah.
Mental.
And Greenwood, not just this game, he has been Marsh's secret weapon this entire time since he's come in. He's got us tons of points, and every time he's played, he's been phenomenal, I think, Greenwood.
He will be loved by... Go on, sorry.
No, he'll be loved by who?
Leeds fans, because of the way he plays in terms of he's so aggressive. He wants to win the ball back, and he does commit a few fouls sometimes, but sometimes that gets the Leeds fans going.
Yeah, well, it's like how people are saying Leeds people player. Like Rodrigo and these other guys aren't fighting and stuff. Greenwood always is. But it just makes you think, what could he potentially get out of Somerville? Or is Greenwood better? Because it was looking before Marsh came in, like Somerville was going to be the one, if either of the two, that was more impressive and had a chance of breaking through. Now, does this mean Somerville could turn into an absolute world beater when he's back? Or is Greenwood better equipped?
Is Somerville an out-and-out winger, or can he play further inside?
More of an out-and-out winger, I'd say. I think Greenwood's got more height, which allows him to play more in the middle.
Because what I don't know is whether Marsh is now going to say, going wide in these recent games has worked, but that wasn't the plan. We're going to play a bit narrower, and he's going to then reset over summer. Or is he going to say, look, in this league, from my experience, it looks like playing wide but adapting my normal system but playing a bit wider has worked really well. So is he going to still want some wingers, or is he going to want to play narrow? It depends on that.
Let's not forget, right? The first time, and I've said I'm not his biggest fan. The first time it got hairy yesterday, my man went to a back five. He played so narrow. I remember us trying to relieve the pressure, bearing in mind we were playing 10 men at the time. And the ball went up to Rodrigo, and we had Rodrigo, Rafinha, and Calvin like this. And guess what? We couldn't get out. Whereas in that first half, when it was 11v11, right, Calvin was picking it up in that single pivot, like JT said, and was smashing it out to Rafinha. It didn't hit him every time, but it gave us that width. My thing is, I think in the summer, and look, Jesse's kept us up. He did the remit. I'm happy as it was so funny. Someone put it on Twitter, and someone sent it me. A Bielsa sexual. A Bielsa sexual. So it was like, well, chat why. The context of it was, there's still them Bielsa sexuals out there that are still banging on. Or whatever.
It means Joe's old Argentinian.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, okay. A Bielsa sexual. I was like, I love that. But I think I'm happy that Bielsa's tenure was bookended with survival. Even though it wasn't under him, it was under Marsh. It means now that I can process over the summer and say, right, okay, the Bielsa era's over now. We're going to see a massive overhaul of the squad, which means them players that got us up, that we, hold so dear in our heart, will either be sold, move on, or take a lesser role in the squad. And I think what that means is, okay, maybe in the start of the season, in 75 days' time, when the squad's been churned over, maybe they'll be able to play that narrow formation, and when we watch it, it'll actually be pleasing on the eye. And maybe it was just the personnel that were making it so difficult to watch. But I don't think he comes in and says, I liked playing that 4-1-4-1. I think he should, but he probably won't, and he'll go back to his penis formation.
Hey, nothing wrong with a penis formation, you know.
If it works, yeah. But
exactly.
If he's going to do it, now's the time to switch from having wide men to having narrow players, because Rafinha is definitely.
You prefer narrow cocks to wide cocks? Is that what you're saying?
Well, he's been pretty good at right back, hasn't
he? Yeah, well, I wasn't talking about Robin, but
he was good at right back, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was very good. But yeah, I think if Rafinha goes, then that gives us a chance to buy some more central attacking players. But
it looks like we're going to do that with Aronson, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, man. Give Marsh time. We haven't seen what his system is yet. We haven't seen his formation. We haven't seen whatever. We can't judge him. And no, we haven't. We've seen what he had to do in a short space of time. Like you said, his remit was keep this up. A completely foreign squad, a completely foreign formation, players with foreign playing styles to what you want. Keep us up. He's done that. Now he's got time. He can bring Aronson in. He can bring whoever the hell he wants in. Start shaping his own squad together in whatever shape of a phallus that he wants. And then we can see what it produces.
Stuart Phallus.
Hey.
That's good. Let me get some super chats that have come in. So Connor Pratchett, 179, big shout out, says Jack Harrison and Aronson at Cam. Not sure about Jack. I don't know. Does anyone think Jack? I mean, they play. Our wingers will play central.
He can play there.
I just feel like Harrison's never been great central, has he? His best position is literally being on the touchline and taking people on and whipping balls in the box. That's what he's been best at. I'm not sure about him as a central player.
Definitely. We've had a super sticker from Billy, so big shout out for that. Mott LUFC 1919 says, yes, Joe, keep the content coming, mate. Thank you very much. And then Sean Healy, we're talking about transfers. He says, what are you thinking of Eddie Gray's comments on TalkSport about Bielsa not wanting players? Now, anyone who hasn't seen this, I've played it to the lads before we came on as well. Eddie Gray, club legend, has been on TalkSport with Simon Jordan and Jim White, and he said that Bielsa never wanted to sign any players. The club and the ownership were desperate to sign players, and he said no, and he believed in his system over players. Personal opinion, and I haven't put it out on social media because social media is an absolute cesspit. But you know, people come here for my opinion, so I will give you it. It feels like propaganda to me from the club. Eddie Gray, you know, he's a legend. Don't get me wrong. Eddie Gray is his own man. Okay, he is his own man. But you know, he works for the club. And okay, he said he's heard from the director and chief executive Imrad Razani that, you know, we tried to sign players, but he didn't want any, and he's took that as gospel. It's not gospel. Bielsa came out and said in press conferences that he wanted players, but they had to be better than what we had. It's all good and well saying, yeah, but we offered him Van der Beek. We offered him Winks. Guess what? Neither of them two players played for their football clubs from January. Hardly at all. So would they have been worth being on our books? No. Who can forget that first season when we tried to get promoted and he offered him Billy Sharp and Glenn Murray? They would not have suited.
Forget.
You know, no, but they would have not suited our style of play. So I think it's unfair and needless. It didn't need to be spoken about. Let's all just move on. But it's unfair to try and change the narrative now. It is unfair to try and change the narrative and say, do you know what? It wasn't any of our fault. It was his. Because that's how it feels to me. And it didn't need to be said. Like at the end of the day, you cannot tell me that Bielsa, if for example, Bielsa signed off on Brendan Aronson, okay? Was he saying no to Brendan Aronson? No. So when Eddie's saying he didn't want any players, that is untrue.
I don't know how he would know if he wanted or didn't want them anyway, because Bielsa didn't even speak to the players. Right? But he didn't even speak to the players, let alone Eddie Gray.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. I just think it's unfair, man, and it's a disservice to that great man.
I don't know if Eddie has either got the wrong end of the stick or is almost a bored loyalist and is sticking up for them.
Yeah.
Either way, what he's saying, like you say, can't be true because, like you say, he signed off on Aronson. I think I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a club legend and say
100%.
That,
I do say that. I understand it. I'm not
I think he's got the wrong end of the stick because Bielsa said no to the players who were actually offered to him by the board. So, like you mentioned, Van der Beek and who's the other one, Harry Winks. He said no to those players because he didn't want them in the team because they weren't going to make a material difference. I don't think.
No,
I think
exactly.
I would genuinely rather have Bate than those two players, which is what Kinnear was trying to argue in his program notes at the time as well. But I just hope that Eddie's got the wrong end of the stick and
just to further before you come in a bit before anything else gets said, like this isn't any sort of like dig out on that. I just feel it's pure like knowing.
Can't really dig with the stick.
No, but I know people that work for the club have to ask the club whether they can do certain interviews. Right, I know that as fact. Right, so Eddie works for the club. He's doing the interview. Right, okay. So they're aware that he's doing the interview.
Do you reckon Eddie would have to ask?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. You work for. Trust me, you work for the club.
I mean, but if you're one of the club's greatest,
I know, for example,
players.
Noel Whelan, for example, has been asked to do Under the Cosh multiple times. He can't do it because the club don't want him to do it, because maybe it'll show him in a certain light that the club don't want. I know
that's fair enough, but I mean Eddie Gray and Noel Whelan.
Okay. So let's what I am not saying, JT. What I am not saying is they're not saying you must say this. You must say this because he's his own man, right? But lest we forget that Angus Kinnear, right? This is from the horse's mouth. People are forgetting this. This is what I don't understand. In that Angus Kinnear officially said Leeds United would rather invest in youth than 8-figure buys. Many January options requiring an 8-figure investment would not be a material improvement on the current performance of emerging players such as Bate, Hjelde and Gelhardt. So what was he talking about then? If then behind the scenes they're saying, Bielsa, please take these players. Here, there's players. And Bielsa's going, no. It's BS because they'd have got rid. Come on, man.
It's the way he's worded it that's really completely sent things the wrong
people
way.
Are buying it, bro. If you
I know, but it's because if he said, you know what, Bielsa didn't want to sign players or whether, but he came out and he said the club were desperate to sign players. The board were desperate to add additions, but Bielsa was adamant that he didn't want any. Shay, the way he worded that, the desperate part of it, you know, reading between the lines there. I mean, no, it doesn't even take much lines to be reading in between them. You know, these got some fat gaps between them. These are like year 4 books. All right. He's basically completely trying to throw Bielsa under the bus there. And I don't know. I don't know why there's even people bringing Bielsa into it.
Exactly.
So
Bielsa why did it need to be done?
Bielsa or Marsh, you know what? There's no point because if you bring one up, you're going to criticize the other. I mean, I said it before and you kind of mugged me off when I said the whole Ronaldo versus Messi debate. To bring one up, you have to shoot the other one down. You know what? Let's just draw a line under the sand. It was a good time while we had Bielsa, whatever. Forget about that. Let's move forward. We've got Marsh now. No point bringing mud up on his name. Enjoy the time while we had it. And I think he could be right that maybe Bielsa didn't want certain signings, and there were.
Well, we know that. We know that as fact. We do know.
But saying that they were desperate. I know. Desperate there. Now that's.
What
we'll see.
We'll see. Can we forget? Can we forget that we signed Dan James and paid 25 million for him? So surely we.
Well, rising up to 30 actually.
Well, but this, I
mean, if we go and splash like 150 million pounds this summer, then maybe he has more of a point that we haven't seen. But this is going to be the telltale sign.
I am just going to pick up on something as well, because this will be easy stick to beat me with, to say that, oh, it's just because Bielsa. Come on now. Do the math, right? Danny, please, right? are we genuinely believing that the day after, we had Victor Orta, right, presenting Jesse Marsch over to the fans like this guy was the Messiah? It's not been plain sailing since it changed, right? Come on. Let's be realistic. It's not, right?
Yeah, because it was never going to be, no matter who he brought in. He could bring
I disagree.
Jurgen
It could have
Klopp in,
been.
it
Could have
be.
been. I disagree.
No.
But let me... this isn't about me defending Bielsa. This is not about that. I'm not blinded. I'm not blinded. What I'm saying is, right, or we're saying that he was, by the sounds of it, like JT said, Leeds were desperate. We were saying, here's another player. Take him, please. Bielsa, no. Here's another one, please. Come on, man. That didn't happen. They were offered Van der Beek. They were offered Winks. He was already offered Winks in the summer and had already told them no. Guess what? Them players that he were offered hardly played. So it was the right thing. It was the right decision. They signed James. He signed off on Brendan Aronson that the club were about to sign.
Well, why are we digging out my boy James for, huh? Dan James, DJ.
I'm just saying though, they're saying that we wanted all them players, but when they wanted one that Bielsa actually said, yeah, I'll have that one, they will manage to get it. So is it not a case of they were bringing him not the right players?
Well, to play devil's advocate, I'm not saying it's wrong. There was someone saying, you know what, we all know over the past 3-4 years how long it took us to get deals over the line. Now it's looking like we might have Aronson already signed, sealed, and delivered. And yes, I know a lot of the paperwork was probably done in January, and it was just a matter of us staying up in order to sign him. But we'll see how quick are we going to move in the market now for some of these players. And I think you might see us move quicker. And I'm not saying that's 100% down to Bielsa. Maybe it could be, but we'll never know. Maybe it could also just be that they no longer have the scapegoat of Bielsa to be there. So maybe they'll move quicker now in making their signings, because kind of like how when Wenger left Arsenal and they finally hounded him out, they were like, the board were like, oh, come on, we're going to have to start splashing the cash now. And they went and heavily backed Emery. Are they going to hopefully do the same thing with Marsch? Yeah, I hope so. Is that the reason? Was it Bielsa? Was it not? We'll never truly know the answer to that one. But I don't know. I mean, what I hope is that we're going to start moving quicker. Do you think we'll move any quicker in signing players now?
We will. Let me bring in Max, because someone's just said there, are you all right there, Max? In the comments. Sorry. And I'm just going to say something to Chris from All Leeds TV as well. Stop it, you. Stop it. You know what you're doing in your comments on about 2042 and Leeds fans are still talking about. So they should be. But anyway, go on, Max.
I was just going to say we have to. It's like what we were talking about, isn't it? In the fact that we have to... all we want from the board is for them to learn from what's happened this season. And going back to the Eddie Gray thing, not to harp on about it too much, but I think it's just the timing of it's terrible. And if it's something that's sanctioned by the club for him to do an interview on TalkSport, doing it at this point, stupid timing. Why would you do it after, try and wind up Leeds fans just after we've stayed up? So horrendous timing and stupid from them.
Yeah.
Having said that, like JT said, hopefully we should move quicker in the windows, because before we've got to the point where we haven't been able to get our first option, our second option, and it's gone on too long, and then we've ended up not getting any central midfielders in however many transfer windows it's turned out to be now. So we just have to move quickly. And it's a shame, because this should be about us celebrating the fact that we've stayed up, and we should all be absolutely buzzing and happy. But some of the stuff that gets said on TalkSport and then it turns fans against each other again. And
Mate, I was on the crest of a wave, right? My partner will tell you. I'm driving to work this evening, and I go, she goes, that's a big sigh. I went, they're trying to do him dirty, love. I'm so annoyed. Why has this had to happen? You're right, though. Why? Just leave it. I think it's them trying to save face. It weren't our fault. Anyway, it is what it is. Like Hans Gruber says, just leave that Marshfield Bielsa stuff. We need to look forward. And we do. I've had a super chat in from Christopher. I will touch on it. He said, lots of spin. Remember, they're businessmen. I agree with you on that, brother. But let's talk about some signings. Obviously, Brendan Aronson looks like he's coming in. we've had a couple of super chats. Billy said, should we sign Charlie Taylor? Cleveland said, would you take Maxwell Cornet? So I want to know from yous, who would you take from them?
I'd rather have a Cornet than Maxwell Cornet. And as for Charlie Taylor, absolutely no chance. No, I don't know. I just said it because it set it up nicely. I would actually take him. No, but Charlie Taylor, no chance, fella.
If you'd have asked me first half of the season, Emmanuel Dennis would have looked like a right shout.
Yeah.
It hasn't been great, though, the second half of the
rather have a
season.
Dennis
So it's that consistency. Dennis the Menace.
Yeah.
Could have had some new Beano chance.
Yeah. That was menacing as a Disney Channel show.
What do we think to Nick Pope? Now, I'm going to give you my opinion. Nick Pope, no, he's not great with his feet.
Again, I'd rather have the Pope.
I know he's a great goalkeeper, but, you know.
I think also if he came in, then he'd expect to be, he'd expect first choice keeper, and I don't think we could do Melier like that because although he's letting a lot of goals this season, it's not entirely been his fault, has it, when that defence has been in front of him, conceding so many chances. Do we need another keeper? In terms of priorities, like we have got a very young goalkeeper, but in terms of priorities, we need those central midfielders. We need a backup striker, and we need another backup holding midfielder as well. Yeah.
There is an unnamed striker out there. I would take Charlie Taylor personally, just for that comment that did come in. I would take him at left back. In terms of this unnamed striker, so we know that Leeds United are close to Aronson. I expect that one to be done. We know that we're after Calvin Ramsey, right back, Aberdeen. He's wanted as well by Liverpool. I think he can play anywhere across the back, so maybe he could be a left back option because we do need another. We do need another behind Junior Firpo. But there's an unnamed striker out there. Who do we believe it to be? Everyone keeps saying Minamino. Is he a striker? Is he a striker?
The only thing that I've seen about this, because I've been at work all day, was your tweet. So who was the one to put it out originally?
So it's from Phil here on The Athletic. He says that Leeds United are close to Aronson. They're after Calvin Ramsey, and they are speaking to an unnamed Premier League striker. So
Eddie Nketiah?
That's what I said. So I was like, it'll either be Eddie Nketiah, Emmanuel Dennis. I was watching a bit of the debrief earlier. KG mentioned Iheanacho. That could be one. I know. Yeah, Chris Kelly's just mentioned Origi, but I think Origi's going to AC Milan.
He has, that's already confirmed, I think.
Yeah, Origi's going to AC Milan.
Wait, hang on. Can I just say, I think I was digging out in the chat. I've been trying to figure out who. Chris Kelly, right? He is one of those OG Dons from All These TV, right?
Right, yeah. Why? What's going on?
No, because you said Chris, and I was like, "Who's Chris?" I realized who it is now. I was trying to put the name to the face. I wasn't trying to dig you out, mate.
Have you just shut your knickers live on air?
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like I've shot someone down here.
No,
I thought you were just talking about some. Yeah, my bad. No, I don't. I'm not trying to.
I know you're not, mate. I'm playing. So yeah, who are we saying? Who would be the one?
Who would be what?
You were too busy trying to find out who Chris was.
Yeah, I was browsing the channel. I was like, well, hang on, because someone was in the chat like, yo, you don't know this Don, and I was trying to put the name to the face.
And Nketiah is the one that's coming to the end of his contract, isn't he? And then I think when you're looking at likeliness, you're looking at the cheaper options, I think. And so I think Nketiah is coming to the end of his contract. And I also think it's probably likely that we could get one of the relegated strikers for a more reasonable price.
Yeah.
But why do we want reasonable? Why do we want these relegated? They were relegated for
from
a reason.
Fan's point of view, we don't. But what the club is willing to spend money on is a different matter.
Well, we're going to get 80 million from Rafinha plus Premier League.
You've got to think they're not buying a first choice striker here, are they? They're buying a backup to Patrick Bamford. So are you going to spend 30 or 40 million on a backup striker to Patrick Bamford when you can use that money elsewhere in the team?
Yeah, because we need a top striker next to him.
Yeah,
we could play 2 up front, but
if he goes with that 4-2-2, then that would be that would be the one, wouldn't it?
I'd like to see Gelhardt get more game time next season, but I don't think he could be in there. If Bamford was out front of the season, I don't think Gelhardt is at the stage where he can play an entire season as a number 9. So, is that why you then need somebody to?
Yeah. No, I agreed. What? Max, is he throwing you because he's laughing? What's going on?
I don't know who he's sending them to.
Oh no, it's just someone in the chat.
Right. Okay. So can you
know who you are?
Can you keep your head in the game, please? Yeah.
I am keeping my head in the game. I was listening. He's the one who you
Stop.
Distracting me by flipping the bird at
me. We've had Colin with the super chat. Colin said, "I'd take Pope. I would, but I just in response, Colin, I think a good friend of mine messaged me earlier as well and said, "Oh, well, he'd be great for Meslier, but there's no way Pope comes in to be experienced for Meslier."
You need to get rid of Meslier though.
No, Mellier's our number 1.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's different gravy, man.
Yeah. He says, watched you all year, brother. Class act. Was at the game and laughed, cried and laughed again. Matching on together. The match live reaction is amazing. Thank you, mate. And he says, that and the Wolves match was my highlights. Getting love from Ireland. Thank you so much, Colin. Istura says, I think Bogus would be great to see in the team. Just on this, let's not forget, Bogus is playing in the 3rd tier of Spanish football.
Yeah. I think that shout is bogus, to be honest.
I was literally lining that one up, JT.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a way to get it in, and you'd already done it.
I think it. Yeah, I know. I think he played against Man United in Australia, didn't he? And I was the same as you. I was like, yeah, I'm on that. But then, it's. I mean, he's playing in the 3rd tier of Spanish football.
He's just another Klitsch role, though, isn't he? He's another Klitsch type player, and he's and that obviously was a Bielsa.
These are the players you've got to think about, like moving away from almost, which sounds harsh, but like out the squad that we have, we've got to move forward, and that means signing players. So some players have got to go, and players like Bogus and some of the other players who are out on loan who will never see first team action, I don't think.
No.
It sounds harsh, but it's almost like you kind of got to move them on, haven't you?
Yeah.
Especially, like you say, bringing new signings in. It's like there's not unlimited spaces in it.
Oh, we don't have to move them on. We could just keep loaning them out. Do the Chelsea system. Just hoover up all the young talent and start loaning it out. Start creaming in some of that cashola, baby.
I think that's what they're trying to do anyway. Really.
Talking about that loan talent, and Armando Broja, who was mentioned as one of the ones for this, is one of those. But like, are they going to want to keep him and loan him out again, or are they going to want to keep him and put him in cryogenic storage for 5 years until he's useful?
Yeah,
I think the big one in Kenner.
He did really well at Southampton for a while, but then fell off a cliff. But I do think I would like Armando Broja. He would be someone I think Chelsea would loan him out again. I don't know.
Was he that good at Southampton?
He started really well, mate. He started really well. A bit like Dennis, I guess.
He's big. He's physical. He's got that presence. He could probably do a job for us. But yeah, JT's just mentioned. I don't know if you saw that, Joe. That Noam Kenner has gone to Hibs.
He has, yeah.
Just saw today, which
not played a single game, but managed to get a yellow card. So there you go.
Must be a record.
Exactly. Yeah, what a gangster.
Probably. Yeah, what a gangster, exactly. We've had a super chat come in question. Then I'll take that one to JT. He says, "Would any of you want Eddie? Overrated for me. Wouldn't want Joffrey to lose game time to him. Joffrey better all round striker than Eddie for me. What do you reckon?"
Eddie Gray, a bit older.
Don't get me started on Eddie now.
And Nketiah, of course. I mean, if you're talking a backup striker, I mean, he wouldn't want to play backup. But he is as good as they get. You're either talking someone to replace Bamford that's better than Bamford, or someone that's around Bamford's level to be a backup for him. And Nketiah is as good as they get in that field. He's been really, really turning up this late end of the season. But the thing that plagued him while he was at Leeds, and that still kind of plagues him, he's getting it out of his system a bit less, is his inconsistency. Because I was speaking to Arsenal fans, because obviously just off my experience from what I saw in a Leeds shirt, and as you remember, he'd have some games where he was just on fire and he was finishing everything, he was getting into the right positions, he was pressing very well, and then he have other games where he's just completely invisible. He is doing up Casper the Ghost. You cannot see him anywhere on the pitch. You literally, even in the stadium, you struggle to see him. He's that invisible. But he's improving quality-wise. Is he as good as Greenwood? I think he's more developed than Greenwood right now.
I wouldn't say whether the same role, really, would you?
No, like physically and dribbling,
if you're
pressing,
going to compare him to someone, you'd probably Joffy.
Well, it's Joffy because they're both those young players that will potentially take the mantle of the main striker in a few years. But I take him now. But do I think he's any better than Joffy? Not really, because Joffy's a bit earlier on in his development.
Is he, though? The question for both of you then, is he a tap-in merchant, or is he capable of being more than that?
A bit more than that, but he does it. He's
nearly every goal I've seen for him.
That's how, yeah, but those
in the 6-yard box.
Shearer scored a lot of 6-yarders. You know, a goal's a goal. It doesn't matter how he scores. So did Gary Lineker. He made a career off it. But I think Joffy has a higher ceiling. I don't think Nketiah's ceiling is as high as people think it is. But to say he's a tap-in merchant is harsh.
I don't think he would come because he's already sick of playing backup, and if he's going to come somewhere else, if he's going to come to a club who have nearly gone down, I don't think he's going to come. I don't think he's going to come and want to play second fiddle to Bamford when we nearly went down. That's not an upgrade, is it? Playing second striker for Leeds.
See, I think whoever comes in, they're not second striker.
You've muted. You've not.
Yeah, I think we'll play. I just had to relieve myself, mate. It's the Chinese repeating on me from last night. Truth be told, mate, I was like, oh, hang on. It stinks as well. There you go.
You dirty boy.
Where was that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out on that. It was an accident.
You proper threw me there.
I thought everything just cut out.
What was I on about? I forgot what happened.
You said that he's not going to be. You said
I don't think he'll be a second
isn't
striker. I think we'll play with the two. I think we'll play with the
but we already have two. So who's getting dropped? Joffy or Bamford then?
I think Bamford. Sorry, not Bamford. No, wait. See, it's that fart, man.
This is a top four striker, man.
Joffy. But someone mentioned in the comments earlier on that now we play with 5 subs, the youngsters will get more minutes. I mean, I don't agree with the 5 subs overall as a thing, but
killing the game.
Yeah.
Back in my day, it used to be 3.
Yeah. I don't know. I look. It's exciting times, whatever happens in it. It's exciting times because now we have a manager that's willing to take on players. The last one never wanted them by the sounds of it. So
well, I mean, to be fair, he was about 65 years old. I'm not sure he had that change of pace left in the tank, to be honest. So,
Billy says Vardy wants to come to Leeds, but wife has put the foot down. I've seen someone mentioning in the chat on about Jesus and Vardy. Yeah, they're pipe dreams.
I don't know. Vardy's not a pipe dream. Vardy,
yes, he is. JT,
Jesus is. Vardy's not as good as Bamford. I'd rather have Bamford than Vardy.
Get this guy off. Get this guy off now. What? Get him off. Get him off.
Vardy wasn't even their top goal scorer. James Maddison scored more goals than Vardy. And you're telling me Vardy's a pipe dream. How old?
Jimmy Vardy will go down as a Premier League legend.
Oh, yes, he will. And if you're talking Vardy from the past, yeah. But how old is he now? Sorry, 35 years old. I'm sorry, that is not a pipe dream. A 35-year-old Jamie Vardy could maybe do a job for a year or two, but that is not the same. You cannot put Jamie Vardy and Gabriel Jesus on the same level. Are you seriously telling me now that
you can't put Bamford on Jamie Vardy's level?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Man.
Bamford last year or Vardy this year? Who played better?
Bamford's had one good season in the Prem. Let's not get wild.
Yeah, no, look, if you're talking
wild.
Vardy of 3-4 years ago, of course, not a conversation. But Vardy now, he's getting on a bit,
scored 3 more goals than Maddison this season.
Did he actually score more? Okay,
he scored 15 this season.
Wait, in the Prem? In the actual
in the
Prem? Did he actually? Oh, well, I stand corrected. There you go.
And he was injured for large parts, I believe.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, he scored 15 goals, joint 6th.
You know what? May have been a bit hasty in that. I may have been a bit hasty.
Because everybody else is internet okay, or is...
No, it's fine.
No, it's just Joe.
Fine, I think.
It's just Joe.
It's fine.
Hey.
You just Joe, exactly. You two talk between yourselves while I sort that out.
Just
you know
Joe,
what it is? My Wi-Fi messed
show.
up just...
Yeah.
Just because of how wild that...
Your Wi-Fi messed up or your gut messed up? No, anyway, so who would you go for, Max? Who would you go for?
In terms of available strikers in the Prem?
Yeah. Do you think we're going to go for a replacement or a second?
This season. I think Ollie Watkins. We sign all the players that we tried to sign. Ollie Watkins, will sign Ivan Toney from Brentford. No, I genuinely can't even see who it would be, to be honest. I wouldn't want Pukki, Dennis, or Weghorst. Nketiah, I wouldn't necessarily see him playing second fiddle or even playing alongside another striker because we just look so much better as a 4-2-3-1 than we have as a 4-2-2-2. Yeah. So I can't see who it would be unless it's a backup striker from another team. Somebody that doesn't necessarily play every week, like I don't know. I suppose Leicester will be wanting to keep someone like Iheanacho, won't they? Because Vardy will be gone soon.
Well, speaking of that, actually, can I just say you mugged me off? Maddison in all competitions actually has scored more goals than Jamie Vardy, so you can suck.
How many minutes have they played? How many games?
Yeah, he's played more. He's played more games. Yeah, sure, he's played 20 more games.
Like
but that's
game of Leicester tennis.
But he's also got 10 more assists. So yeah.
What about Dwight Gale?
Nah. Championship merchant. And he's too good for the Championship, not good enough
it's
for
like Mitro. What's Mitro going to be doing next year? Do you reckon Mitro will bang?
It will be interesting to see how Mitrovic gets on. I'm already like my just on that. My relegated 3 already are going. I think Fulham will stay up this time, but it'll be whoever comes up in the playoffs. Bournemouth and Brentford. There we go.
Brentford will go down. I think Brighton will go down.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
A few good players to poach from Brighton if they did go down.
Oh, yeah, there is. Certainly there is.
Will they not lose them all this summer? Do you think they'll manage to keep Cucurella?
I don't think any of them have lit the world up so much that they're going to get poached away from Brighton.
Well, I mean, aside from Cucurella, really.
But where does
City are after Cucurella, you know?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But no one else is really elite of the elite.
City just give it a rest.
I know. So apparently cities, and this segues us nicely, summer will look like this. Erling Haaland, Cucurella, and one Calvin Phillips. So I put this to you now. Because I've even seen Lewis, who's not showed up tonight, whatever. He's on Twitter.
Who's the one who shat their pants now, Joe?
He's the one on Twitter.
And not from the Indian.
Let me land, will you? Not JT. See what you've done. Lewis on Twitter thinks Rafinha might give us another season. I think that's never happening. Rafinha has said goodbye. He knelt across the pitch the way that he did, thanking his deity. You know, Rafinha goes now. I think the one that we will disagree over or debate over is, will Calvin want it? Or do you think there's a conversation to be had about Rafinha staying?
No. Unless if we sign him to a new contract, if he goes next year, we'll get half the amount of money for him, and you'll see a situation where you either die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And if he stayed on for another year,
Man's
not signing another well, exactly, man. And he has been our Dark Knight this year, you know, rising like a salmon whenever we needed him to. But he's not gonna. If he stays and he doesn't sign another contract, things will start to get a bit bitter. But the Phillips one, why we didn't tie him down to a new contract when he was asking for one?
I think he's changing his agent, isn't he? I think that's what's held it off.
Yeah, no, it was the club. I swear, because he kept saying
maybe they went to Bielsa and said, "Do you want anyone on any contracts?" And he went, "No, that's what I'll be next."
Have rolling contracts like me. But I think if Rafinha goes, I've said this from the start of the Rafinha rumours, if Rafinha goes, that gives us the money and the bargaining power to say, right, we've got enough to invest so Phillips can stay. Like I can, like one of them will definitely go, and it's much more likely to be Rafinha because he doesn't have a proper like deep roots in this club.
Yeah.
But Phillips, Phillips loves playing football, and if he goes to City, he's going to be a backup to Rodri. So is he going to want to play for his hometown club week in, week out in front of fans that absolutely adore him?
Yeah.
Just to see where it can go for another couple of seasons and then move in his prime or what?
Who, Phillips?
Heavily rotate.
Yeah, but that's not a thing. You don't know when your prime is as a footballer. You could get a career-ending injuries tomorrow. Yeah. Well, of course, City is a more favourable option, but he said he would stay. That's the thing. He said he would stay. That's the only reason. But it would be for another year until we potentially got ourselves into European places. But you're basically asking him, do you want to potentially be a Champions League winner? Or do you want to play for Leeds at this current moment?
They're never going to win the Champions League, though, are they? So,
well, I don't know about that. Erling Haaland up front.
Or do you want to work under Pep? You know what I mean? Do you want to work alongside Kevin De Bruyne? You know what I mean? And
yeah, but he's already worked under Bielsa, Pep's dad, so...
Yeah. Well, this is the thing.
Well, the son usually supersedes the father, don't they? Or exceeds.
I just think as well, there's also the club, right, need to be very, very savvy as well. And I've mentioned this, and people probably don't like to have the conversation. But Calvin looks worse in this system. He does. He looks worse in this system, in my opinion. You can't disagree with that. You can't disagree with that, and I'll tell you for why. Because when he looked good, i.e. yesterday and against Brighton, guess what? We changed formation and played with width and went
still
back
a system. It technically is still Marsh's system that he played yesterday.
No, it's not. It's not, bro. Is it?
Oh, well, okay. What, he put the squad out? Whose system was it that he was playing?
Right. Okay.
I'm not sure that many holding midfielders would look great in the formation that he started us with no width at all. Because, like we've mentioned, the fact that he had no outball, like if Kante was in there, if Fabinho was in there, like if they've got no outball, like they're not magicians, they're not like they can't work wonders. Yeah. Like they need somebody to pass to, and I think, like you said, when we've got a bit of width, Calvin's then finding those passes out wide, and he's looking a little bit more like his old self again. So, yeah, it's hard to say, really. I think I'm just more in denial that I just really, really don't want him to leave, and I don't want to believe that Brighton game was the last time I'll see him at Elland Road.
What do you think about? And Duncan's mentioned KP looks fine in a 4-2-3-1, and there's people that know much more about the game than me and have said how different that is to the double pivot, because it plays at different levels at England. You have, Calvin Rice and then Mount. It's not as narrow. It's not as there's your two, there's your two, there's your two, as Leeds United tended to play early doors.
I think the difference between the England double pivot to this double pivot was basically using Phillips as the deepest player, and then whoever was next to him was kind of bridging the gap between the number 8 and the number 6. Whereas for England, he had Declan Rice holding that defensive position, and he was the one bridging the gap between the number 8 and the number 6, which was giving him a lot more attacking responsibility than he was getting early on for Leeds under Marshall.
Yeah, England is operating on a like one stay, one go sort of thing. So when Rice wanted to charge into midfield, Phillips would sit back, and it's not the same really. It's more of like a rigid 2 players will just sit in front of the defence for Leeds. I think
and you've got to be honest.
We've seen that it can work well with Phillips if it's a one stay, one go, and one joins the attack and the other one sits in. Because, like you say, Phillips is better on his own in there. So if it's Bate alongside him, he looks a bit more mobile than Phillips, or another midfielder that comes in. He then charges off into the midfield, supports the attack, and you've still got the stability of the fact that we're now zonal and the fact that Phillips is sat in front of the defence.
Do you believe it will do that though, Max?
Well, I think we're yet to see the full extent of what Marsh is actually trying to do. Yeah. And I think we have to reserve, like, we've been bad under him, but that's not his full philosophy. We sort of need to reserve full judgment until he's had a full pre-season. He signed some players that he wants. Players like Aronson is already used to his system, so he'll know what he's doing straight away and slot in. So I think like the first 10 games of the season, we'll see what his tactics are really about.
Yeah, no, I agree. But back to that point though, just about Calvin, in my opinion, he don't look as good. For the periods of times, if people want to say it's not Bielsa's system that we reverted to going forward, okay, that's fine. Yes, I understand Jesse put it out, but you know, I guess what I'm saying is we were all saying there's no width, we need to play with width. Calvin's not playing well in it too. You play him on his own, he'll do better. When he did that, it worked, right? And we know that from the previous regime. But I understand Jesse was the one that made that decision. He's the guy that coaches the team. So I hear what you're saying, JT. I do. I know what you mean, right? But for me, like, Calvin's looked arguably worse and then looked good against Brighton and looked even better against Brentford. And the club may see it as, look, we're being offered this money here. Is it at a stage where he's stocked so high that it makes sense? And I know someone mentioned in the chat about, it's a World Cup year, Calvin won't want to play and stuff. And I don't agree with that. And the reason I don't is because you've got a manager in Gareth Southgate that will play you whatever. If you are one of his guys, he will play you, and Calvin's one of his guys. Let's not forget how Paul Maguire's been. Not for England, by the way, and I like Maguire for England, but if we're going to look at it like that, then Calvin's going to be fine. He's going to be playing with much better players.
The Euros.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And he'll be playing in the Champions League. It just makes sense. But I don't know. Maybe
that's another thing. He's playing with better players. Like that's why also he plays better with England. They've got better players around him. That's why he plays better. And at a team again like Man City, could you imagine how well Phillips would be playing with that much time on the ball? The way they play is very possession oriented. Perfect for Phillips.
Yeah. Look, I've always said, and this is the only reason I'm not trying to. I have always said, and dial it back, watch back the tapes. It is what it is. I've always said, Rafinha goes and Calvin gives us one more season, right? One more season. I've always felt that, and I hope it is the truth. But with Bielsa leaving, with the new system not quite suiting, and also the reaction to his final game at home this season after Brighton, family on the pitch, girlfriend on the pictures, all that sort of stuff that I shared with you, I was like, I think he's going. I spoke to someone who told me that they believed, who's a City guy, and said that was done. Obviously, it might have all changed now after us staying up, but I'm not too sure.
I think a good point that was made on the square ball was that I think it was on the square ball. If it's not, then it doesn't matter. But
people were talking
about
water here.
No, people were just talking about how Phillips hasn't actually had the proper chance to relax and have his family on the pitch in front of a full Elland Road since he got promoted. So the last home game of the season was maybe his first chance to do that.
Wasn't very relaxing
because of COVID. Do you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't been able to actually do that and appreciate it and stuff, because you don't do that sort of thing halfway through a season, do you? And before that, we had a full season with COVID, so you had no fans in the ground. The family certainly wouldn't have been allowed to walk around the pitch and stuff. So is that why? And what you were saying, Joe, about giving us one more season, I hope that he does give us one more season. And in that season, next season, we get Europa League. And he's like, all right, I'll play European football with Leeds. And then the next season, we get Champions League, and then we win everything in the world.
And then you walk up there. Then you went.
Did you not think the way that he was walking around with Rafinha symbolised anything? Man. The fact it was them two.
Why else is he doing that?
I'm in denial.
That's the only thing that's done it for me is that after Brighton. Why else would he do that?
But is that not because he's a nice bloke? What he did
Look at Max here.
What he did in the Euros final, though, he was the first person to go up to Saka to say to him, it's all right, mate, don't worry about it. And I think he's just that sort of bloke who thinks, Rafinha's told me he's going to Barca, so I'm going to go and sit with him for a bit and be a nice mate.
Flipping hell, is this what I'm like with Tyler Roberts? Is this what it's like?
Yeah, but everybody actually likes Phillips and wants him to stay.
No, I just mean this sort of delusions of grandeur.
I was properly before this chat thinking that he would just stay for another season because Rafinha's going and we don't need to get rid of him. And
we could charge a lot of money, can't we? We could charge a lot of money.
Yeah.
How long has he got left on his current contract, Phillips?
Is it another year?
3 years. Well, yeah, if it's one more year, we're absolutely screwed. It better be more than 1 year.
It's not. It's not. Otherwise, I don't know. It's not 1 year though. Certainly not 1 year. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Like I say, I think it's it's going to be a long summer. It's going to be a long, hard summer, and it's 25 degrees in the shade.
A long, hard summer.
One of them ones. It's going to be long. People are saying 2 year, 2 years.
Contract expires June 30th, 2024.
2024.
Speaking of that, you boys got any summer plans?
I'm walking on Thursday.
Little trips abroad.
I'm going to Benidorm, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
with the family.
Benidorm on the 4th.
The whole family?
No, just me and the partner. Actually, just going to get away.
Good night out.
No kids. Yeah, it's going to be nice. Actually.
Are you going to go see Sticky Vicky?
Shouldn't do it anymore.
There's someone else.
It's a daughter.
Oh, that's weird.
She's called Rancid Rachel.
She's called Sticky Star. They went and seen it on one of them Sidemen videos where they went.
Yeah, I know. That's how I found it.
Yeah, that was the. Less said about that, the better.
Yeah, and I think on that note, it's a nice way to end the video, isn't it?
What about Max? You got any summer plans?
Not really in the summer, but we're going to see Queen in a week or two in London. So that should be good.
Oh, nice.
Who you got to see?
Queen.
Aren't they dead?
No, well, Freddie Mercury is, but not Brian May and Roger Taylor.
I have a tattoo of Freddie.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
I like Freddie.
I don't know. I'm getting closer to the screen as if that's going to help me see
that.
Old grandmas.
Yeah.
What was that, Joe? Did you get that on super computer?
I love Freddie Mercury. I'm a massive Queen fan, but I don't think I'd like to see them without him.
Well, that's what I thought, but I've seen a few things where like the lead singer doesn't do the whole performance. He goes off a bit sometimes, and then they have a big projection of Freddie on the screen singing and stuff instead, and like the audience interaction of past performances will be sort of repeated, but like, so yeah, it should still be decent.
Nice.
Wow. Anyway, it's been a popping stream, man. The people in here clearly absolutely buzzing. The chat has been popping off like never before. Absolutely, it probably looks like there's a few pints deep from some of you, especially Lewis who popped in there. But man, you guys have been going crazy
Lewis who?
today. Shout out to you lot. Yeah. He came in giving me smoke earlier on. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah. No, but nah, you guys have been killing it today, man. And no, I haven't ordered the mankini yet, but I will. I didn't.
What's this mankini? I keep seeing it. Did you say that you would wear one or something?
I said, okay, it was when things were looking bleak, and I said, if we stay up, I'll do a stream in a mankini where I chug on chili powder. And we stayed up, so.
You definitely won't do that.
Well, I said I would, so I'll have to. I've got the goggles. Well, yeah, I was gonna go. I'm gonna basically. Oh man, I'll do like an ice bucket in a mankini and then do a stream with chili. Yeah, I don't want to do it, but hey, I said I
gotta do it. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta.
My man and my word. But I'm not.
Make sure you check out JT's channel. Make sure you check out Max at Leeds lately. Don't check out Lewis's because he's not shown up. So don't worry about it. When his video comes out a little bit later on, don't watch it. Okay, he's not being.
Mate, it better be a banging video because he's missed it. Right? So.
It's him in his garden with his mates, reacting to the games. I think.
Yeah.
And then he'll just steal all our videos and put it all together, and then and do that. I'm only joking.
This is about to get very litigious in a second here.
I know, yeah. Anyway, I love that. Gaz says sub to Max, good guy. I hope you sub to JT as well. Yeah, so what have you got coming over the next few days, by the way, folks? Anything?
Anything, but a lot more content. I've got more time on my hands now. Gonna have a South Stand signings coming out this week. You know, gonna be now that series can start again. I'm excited to look forward to the signings we can actually make now, and another week of football coming out later this week. So small stuff.
What about yourself, Max?
I'm just in the process of editing I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's going to be a feel-good trailer for what's happened this season and the fact that we've finally stayed in the Premier League and the weight's off our shoulders. So that should be out.
That's a good title.
At some point. A bit long for the algorithm, I think.
I know, yeah. Man. I think it'd be too many characters anyway. Yeah, brilliant. Make sure you check that out then, folks, and check out both channels. I'll have some out in the morning, just discussing things, and then I'm gonna have some time off because I'm doing the Gary Speed Walk. So I'll be in Leeds Wednesday night, and then I set off on Thursday. We're walking from Wales back to Leeds, so I'll be doing that. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What's that? Sorry.
Who are you doing that with?
Square Ball and a load of other fans. I think there's like 100 people that have signed up for it.
So you're walking together?
Yes, yeah. So it's over 4 days, 3 nights. So we walk
just
Wales.
Like what, 10 hours of walking each day?
30 miles. 30 miles each day, there or thereabouts, 27, 28, and then the last bit's from Huddersfield to Leeds. Yeah, it's quite it's going to be painful, yeah. But I do that. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I might do something Sunday night. Maybe we'll get the lads back together. But yeah, I will be having a couple of days off. Which is well deserved. Anyway, I think. And I
think you'll be having a fat bath on Sundays. What you'll be having?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly that, and just getting
not with Lewis though.
Put Vaseline on my chafe spots probably as well.
Well, that's a bit too. Oh man.
Yeah,
that's not the image I wanted in my head.
Okay,
I went to bed.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I tell you what, you can tell we're a bit more upbeat, can't you? After that we're safe now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, for those that are saying good luck on that, the link to sponsor me is in the description. So go and sponsor us. I think we've got 7K or something. Like Square Ball and Mad. Like what they do, the reach they have. They set a target at 10K and they're nearly there. I was like 10K. I think they're over-egging it a little bit, but they've nearly done it. Christopher says, visit Henlon, free pasty at Seop Henlon for you. I'm assuming that's in Wales. I don't know what Seop Henlon. Where's that? Is that? I'm assuming it's Wales, Christopher.
It's in Henlon.
Henlon, yeah. Where's that though?
Sorry,
he used to be a tennis player, Tim Henlon.
I love that, Tim Henlon.
Welsh pool it's in.
It's actually a person.
Welsh pool.
Welsh.
You don't know who Tim Henman is, JT?
Never heard of Tim Henman. No.
Really?
No. What? Yeah. Who?
You don't know who Tim Henman is? How old are you?
Who? 21.
21. Right, no, that's understand. Tim Henman was about when I was.
Yeah,
still
I've been set up twice. I've been set up twice today with these who's. What's going on, man?
Genuinely, that's it. Apparently, Seop means Seop is Welsh for shop.
Right,
okay. I mean, Christopher's not helping by saying Henlon is near Denbigh.
Oh, bloody hell, man. I was just down there the other night, actually, yeah.
Real.
Or real. And
Real Madrid.
Reeled you in with that one.
Yeah, he did.
What do you call a bunch of world-class fishermen?
Welsh.
What do you call a bunch of world-class fishermen?
I don't think, anyway.
Just going to air my question.
What's that? Sorry,
I missed it. What do you call a bunch of world-class fishermen?
Go on.
What do you call a bunch of world-class fishermen?
I don't know. Go on.
Real Madrid. Oh, man.
It's in Real
Madrid.
Yeah. We're bloody hilarious, man.
We'll see you very soon. Check out the lads' channels, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, and we will see you in a bit. You legends, Leeds United, bring it on. USA.